Rise 106.7, positively different.
Can't hear me.
Alright, you're tuned in to Rise 106.7 FM, and right about now, it's time for the kids to show us all there is in the beauty of oratory. Now, oratory, not just speaking to be heard, but speaking, convincingly and walking your way to the hearts of our listeners. And of course, invoking the change that we'll need in the education sector. Okay, on that note, I'd like to make welcome gentlemen, ladies, teachers, students present here in the studios, listeners, and our viewers via our social media platforms to the season 2 of the Rise Oratory Competition Day for live here on Rise 106.7 FM. In case you're just joining us, this competition is coming to you courtesy of SCT Integrated and Rise 106.7 FM. And of course, it's part of our social responsibility that aims to bridge some of the gaps and lapses that we have in our education sector today. 8 schools participated already, 3 rounds gone, and it's been amazing since we started on Monday. Okay, so today I'm sure will be very exceptional because I can see the kids are poised and ready to do justice to the topic of today, that is the effects of insecurity on the education of the Nigerian child. 2 schools will be battling this out today on the competition, and that is Federal Government College. A round of applause for them. And Institute for Continuous Education, ICE. A round of applause for them too. All right, remember you can watch us live via our social media platforms. On Facebook is facebook.com/Rize FM Radio. My name is Precious Ogolad and I'm your anchor today. All right, time now for some talk action. I'd like to make welcome our very first speaker for today from Federal Government College in the person of Miss Victory Oloruntobi. A round of applause for her. She makes her way forward.
It is easier to build up stronger children physically, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically than to build up and repair broken adults. These are the words of Frederick Douglass, and with these words I say, good morning, my highly esteemed listeners. Welcome to the season 2 of the Rise Oratory Competition. My name is Damlola Olomtobi. I am a student of Federal Government College, Warri. The topic before us this morning is the effects of insecurity on the education of the Nigerian child. Before I continue, I would like to define the key terms in our topic for today. Dear listeners, what is insecurity? Insecurity is a situation of lack of safety in a community, state, or any society. Insecurity is a condition of being threatened mentally, physically, and emotionally. Insecurity is a state whereby the safety of a person is not guaranteed. On the other hand, who is a Nigerian child? A Nigerian child is a child who is born in a country and whose parents are citizens of Nigeria. I say so because citizenship can also be acquired by birth. This is to say that a child who is born in Nigeria is also a citizen of Nigeria. I, for one, is proud to be a Nigerian child and a citizen of the most populous African nation in the world. Dear listeners, what do we mean by the word education? Education can be defined as a process or art of imparting knowledge, skill, and other moral virtues into children, which is responsible for their social, moral, mental, and psychological well-being, which will make them to be responsible adults in the future. It is very obvious that the role of education in the life of a child cannot be overemphasized. From the moment a child is born, learning begins. Formal education through schools helps to provide a well-structured system of imparting knowledge, skills, and moral conduct into children. Education is also good in making a child's mental and psychological well-being to be sharp. Formal education also helps a child to learn other life skills such as teamwork, good manners, respect, discipline, and others. Good education cannot be achieved in an insecure and unsafe environment. This brings me to the effects of insecurity on the education of a Nigerian child. Firstly, Insecurity forces parents to keep their children away from school. Parents have been forced to keep their daughters away from school because of the fear of the activities of the Boko Haram insurgent group in Nigeria. In the northeastern part of Nigeria, the Boko Haram group that has classified education as a forbidden thing has tried vigorously to eradicate education in the northeastern part of Nigeria. Hundreds of teachers and thousands of students have been killed and some have been severely wounded. Hundreds of school buildings and hundreds of properties have been burnt and some have been destroyed. Hundreds of students have been abducted and taken to unknown places and there are no traces of them till now. These cases of insecurity has helped to instill fear in the hearts of parents and they are therefore scared to take their children to school because of the cases of abduction. Thank you very much, my dear listeners. My second speaker will continue from the next point.
A round of applause for her. All right, thank you very much, Ms. Victory Olorinto. We will now make welcome the supporting speaker, Ms. Ogechukwu K. Okediachi.
Good morning, listeners. My name is Okediachi Favor Ogechukwu. I am a student of Federal Government College, Warri. Like my first speaker said, insecurity has diverse negative effects on the education of the Nigerian child. Insecurity affects the mentality of the Nigerian child. It puts fear and anxiety into them. Insecurity has destroyed the psychological mindset of the child. Instead of the child to think of academic excellence or academic achievement, he or she's mindset is occupied with fear and anxiety of being adopted. Out of 10.5 million students or children who are out of school, 60% of them are in the north, and 60% of them are in the north and are females. This has reduced the girl literacy rates in Nigeria. It is also responsible for the increase of the female illiteracy in Nigeria. We should not forget that April 2014, the Boko Haram terrorists stormed into the hostel of the Chibok Government Secondary School in Borno State and abducted about 300 schoolgirls who were preparing for their WASEC. This put fear and many parents withdrew their students. Though it is true that some has been released, but will they ever remain the same? A lot of students have decided not to go to school. In one of the interview with the BBC, a student who witnessed the abduction of about 110 students said, and I quote, no matter the level of security placed, I don't think I can be able to go back to school. Because a lot of my friends has been adopted and kidnapped and some not still seen. I was so scared I could not sleep. This is a child who has been psychologically affected and has made up her mind not to go to school. In conclusion, teaching and learning cannot take place in an insecure and unsafe environment. Thank you, my listeners.
All right, a round of applause for her once again. Okay, we now make welcome next speaker. That's the first speaker from Institute of Continuous Education in the person of Melissa Okosu. Please make your way forward.
Good morning, judges, members of the High Table, and Rize FM. I would want to use this medium to thank you for giving my school the opportunity to participate in this oratory competition. I am a representative of Institute of Continuing Education, Warri, Delta State, and I've been given the opportunity to talk on the topic titled "The Effect of Insecurity on Education of the Nigerian Child." Firstly, insecurity can be defined as a state of being open danger or threat and lack of protection. Nigeria has witnessed various potholes of insecurity as a result of bad leadership, unemployment, Nigerian porous borders, illiteracy among the youth, drug abuse. However, the features enumerated above has resulted in security which have affected the education of Nigerian child with the following effects. 1. Drop in class attendance. 2. Fear of being attacked in school. 3. Poor academic performance of children in school. In recent times, some northern parts of Nigeria have been experiencing security threat as a result of the activities of Boko Haram, which has led to in recent times, in some northern parts of Nigeria, they've been experiencing security threat as a result of the Boko Haram. The activities of this group has forced a lot of Nigerian children to drop out of school, which has led to school has made a lot of Nigerian children to abandon school, which has abandoned school. As a result of insecurity in Nigeria, the education in the northern part of the region has reduced by 28% more than any other region in the country. Constant attacks even makes it more difficult for teachers to persuade parents to allow their children stay in school due to bombing of schools, killing of young and old, reloading of school pupils, kidnapping of students, sounds of gunshots. In April 2014, the Boko Haram invaded the Chibok Government Secondary School College when they were about getting ready for their senior secondary school WASEC examination. The issue of insecurity in Nigeria has compelled a lot of Nigerian children to drop out, and we all know that dropout is one of the most serious problems which have bedeviled the Nigerian educational system, right from the colonial administration up to the independence in 1916 and even beyond. We all see that in the issue of the 10.5 million children who have dropped out in school. What 60% are from the north and about 40% from the south. We also in the southern part of Nigeria, cultism has become the order of the day, where school age children abandon school and involve in cultism and killing of each other. And of course, academic activities are put on hold during the period of closure. Also, the issue of insecurity in Nigeria has compelled a lot of Nigerian children to drop out, and we all know that dropout is one of the most serious problems which have bedeviled the Nigerian educational system. Therefore, if the government are able to provide if the government are able to deploy uniformed men in such areas who are having security problems, Nigeria will be a better place for educational system. Thank you.
Nigeria will be a better place for the educational system. Well spoken there. We'll now make welcome the supporting speaker from Institute of Continuous Education in the presence of Angel or Ego.
Good day, judges. Good day, members of Rize FM. My name is Igo Angel. I am a student of Institute of Continuous Education, Warri, Delta State. I want to thank Rize FM on behalf of my school for giving us the opportunity to participate in this oratory competition. And I'm going to be giving a speech on the topic, effect of insecurity on the education of the Nigerian child. Firstly, what is insecurity? According to my Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, insecurity can be defined as a feeling of uncertainty and lack of confidence or anxiety about oneself. There has been a lot of worries over the problem of insecurity in the country and its effect on the school. We cannot talk about insecurity without knowing some causes of insecurity. And some of the causes of insecurity in Nigeria are courtesan, communal clashes, bad leadership, Boko Haram crisis, and other social crimes. The above causes of insecurity has really affected the education of the Nigerian child in great deal. In the southern part of Nigeria, courtesan has become the order of the day, where students engage in fighting, bullying each other and destroying school facilities, which result in the destruction of academic calendar, fall in educational standard, and low academic performance. In the northern part of Nigeria, terrorists set attacks on innocent people, which usually send these innocent people to the hospital and more to their early graves, and most of these innocent victims are school-aged children. Teachers, students, and other school staff are often victims of these unpredicted attacks. For instance, on the 29th of February 2016, Barberton Macaulay Junior Seminary, a school at the outskirts of Lagos, was thrown into pandemonium when some of their school children were kidnapped. It was around 8 p.m. when the children were busy studying for their upcoming examination that a gang of 12 armed men struck and kidnapped 3 schoolgirls. The insecurity problem in Nigeria has really affected the education of the Nigerian child in great deal, and has also affected parents' willingness to allow their children to study. This problem has also resulted to fear, loss of life and properties, and has also made Nigerian children to become participants in some criminal activities. The primary objective of any school leader as a representative of government is to ensure the safety and welfare of the students, teachers, and school staff placed under his or her care. But due to these insecurity problems, they are unable to do that because they know that they are not able to fight the insecurity problems by themselves. That is why I've come with some ways that I think that government will be able to curb the problem of insecurity. 1. Government should enlighten the public on the importance of education. 2. Government should provide more safe and secure educational grants in Nigeria. 3. Government should provide security devices like CCTV cameras, metal detectors, electronic door locks. 4. Children should be equipped with some basic ways to fight this insecurity. Thank you.
Another hand for them, please. Wonderful, wonderful presentation so far. But then let's move over to our judges now to give us the analysis of their presentation so far. All right, Mr. Laji, let's hear from you.
Stand before the audience here in the studio and even those watching them all over the world is worthy of commendation, and I want to ask everyone to put their hands together for them.
Rize 106.7, positively different.